Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Poncho podcast. As you have all seen by now, by the title, that we're doing a Star Wars themed podcast today, and I am joined by my two very good friends and very special guests, Vicky and Damien.
Hello.
They're not very big Star Wars fans, but they're impartial to it. Do you know what I mean? Their background, all the Star Trek stuff that they've got in the background. I'm going to get lynched for this.
May the force be with you.
Yeah. Live long and may the force be with you, yeah. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much for being on the podcast today. I really appreciate it. This is amazing.
That's fine.
I know. Great, yeah.
Are you going to talk?
Yeah, I'm going to talk. I'm going to take this off.
We'll take that.
Yes, mask is optional at this point. I should also have introduced Kylo, actually. That should show you how fantastic a fan Vicky is, that our little dog is called Kylo. And he's really sweet. So sweet.
No.
He's like,
So, thank you so much for being on today, guys. I really appreciate it. This is something that I love dearly. Obviously, as we speak about every time we're together, we all speak about Star Wars. So this is great fun to do it in this kind of capacity. But basically, what I've always wanted to know, guys, is what drew you guys to Star Wars initially? Like, what was it about Star Wars?
Well, for me, I was 4 when I first saw Star Wars, and it was my uncle that introduced me to it. My mum was never a big film fan or anything, so when I went to my uncle's, I used to always watch his VHSs, and I got to watch things like The Thing and It, and all the things that I wouldn't be able to watch. And Star Wars was one of them. A New Hope he had on VHS, and I watched it then, and I just loved it. It was something, I don't know if it was just because of it's just so exciting, and as a kid, you're drawn into this universe, and it was amazing. So that really kind of got me into it. And then every time I go over to his, I would start, watching it and playing with different, and I ended up getting Star Wars toys and things. My mum wasn't too happy about it, to be fair, because she wanted a little girl, and I ended up liking all these kind of boys' toys as she put them. But yeah, that was kind of what got me into it in the first place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's something that I was always aware of, because it was always it's always referenced in films and TV shows and all that. But the first time I remember seeing it, I was about 8 or 9, and my sister had bought Return of the Jedi on VHS. So the first Star Wars movie I saw was Return of the Jedi, or certainly that I remember seeing. And then it was like it was the second last VHS of the original cut, and then they released them again as the original cut. So we got the first 2 about a year or 2 later, maybe, and then they released the special editions. But it's something that we'd always had, because my uncle, we had his toys in the house as well, but they were all given away later on. So he had all the original toys, and then that could have been an absolute treasure trove of amazing Star Wars merchandise. But obviously, it wasn't so much of a big thing to collect and all that as it was then. So my mum gave them away to charity shops and stuff like that. So that was the kind of nest egg gone at that stage.
Yeah, amazing. I think I was pondering this, and I can't actually remember my initial first viewing of Star Wars. I think it was Empire. I think Empire Strikes Back was my first Star Wars film I seen. But I remember the first one I owned on VHS was the Phantom Menace, obviously, because that was I was born in the mid-90s, so that was the kind of the one that came after that when I was young, So yeah, I think the Phantom Menace is my kind of my best memory, even though it's not one of the best. But I'll get onto that. Yeah, I think Empire Strikes Back, I think it's probably one of my favourites to this day as well. But what ones did you guys own? What was the first Star Wars movie that you actually owned that was yours? And yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, I think, was the first one that I owned on a VHS.
Nice.
I also remember there was when they re-released them, there was could get the box set of the VHSs, and I ended up getting that. Unfortunately, I didn't keep any of them. I think when VHSs ended up, it was DVDs and different things, you just ended up getting rid of all your VHSs, so I never kept them. I kind of wish now I had, just for don't know.
Yeah, to have them.
Static
Yeah,
kind of
definitely.
purposes. But yeah.
And I think I can't remember if it was a. I think it was a birthday or a Christmas present. I got the Phantom Menace on
Nice.
VHS. I think, but I can't now remember if that was like a joint thing for me and my younger brother. Yeah, he may have been too wee. I don't know. But that was the first one I remember getting.
Yeah, I'm the same. Yeah, I know that I've seen other ones like the originals before that, but yeah, it's the same.
I never owned the special editions on VHS, and then I bought whenever they bought the original trilogy out on Blu-ray. I bought those.
Nice.
But I think that was probably the original trilogy is what I had, because like we'd always. No, I had them on DVD. In fact, I did have the original trilogy on DVD, and I think I gave them to my niece when I got the Blu-rays versions. Yeah, I think.
You remember with VHSs though, you used to watch them so many times, eventually they would start wearing out.
Oh
So,
yeah,
like,
absolutely. Yeah.
my Star Wars ones, they were totally, the quality of them was just gone because like I'd watched it so much. But when Phantom Menace came out though, were DVDs out then? Was that still a choice of DVD and VHS?
I think it was just at the beginning, maybe.
Yeah. Just it's one of those things like you don't really think about. You just kind of take for granted, like DVDs and stuff like that. But VHS, man, like VHS was another world. That's great. VHS was great.
I just remembered there when we were talking about the VHS, because the copies of A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back that we had was a different release from the Return of the Jedi one we had, and that had an interview. Each one of those had an interview with George Lucas.
Oh, nice.
So obviously you watched that interview the first time, but then each subsequent time you would just fast forward through the interview. So that would have degraded the tape even more, just constantly fast forwarding through this. There was some cool stuff in it, but you just like, I can't listen to it again. Just keep going.
Do you guys ever remember? I think it was the Sun newspaper. Like, I don't read the newspaper anyway, but it was the Sun newspaper, and they were doing a Star Wars like 3 DVDs. Do you ever remember them? It was like the dark side and the light side, and it was like interviews with Anthony Daniels, and then it would show you how they done like the combat scenes with like the lightsabers with the sticks coming out of them, the battle sticks and stuff. It was awesome.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah,
if I can dig them out, and I'll get them to you guys. Because that's
I still got them.
You know what I mean? I remember having 2 copies of them because I just kept buying the newspaper. When I was wee, I kept saving up and like buying the newspaper so I could like saving up as if they were like a $5 each, but I kept like, saving up so I could buy the newspaper and get like as many copies as I could for some reason. Who knows? I mean, but right. The question on everyone's lips at all times when it comes to Star Wars is, what side are you on? Dark side or light side?
I'm light side. I will always be the light side. I know you used to are.
Yeah, well, I would say I'm more grey.
Yeah, more in, yeah. I would say I'm more in the middle as well. Yeah,
kind of in the middle, because the Jedi are too extreme in their sort of doctrine, if you know what I mean. And I've never been one for kind of being too extreme about anything. Yeah. You know, so and the Sith have cool powers. So you'd have access to the cool powers without being fully evil. You know?
Yeah, but then I get that. Also look at the fact that Rey had powers. She was light side, but she had so many powers that she developed.
Yes, well, because that's my thing, because like everybody has a dark side.
Yeah.
And the Jedi repress that dark side, so there's more. When you repress things, there's more sort of chance that it'll come through violently. Yeah. You know, so that's why I reckon people go so bad, because whereas if you embraced both, you know.
Yeah.
I think the Grey Jedi are like the ultimate rebels. They don't belong to the Jedi Order. They don't belong to. They are
outcasts.
They just
not
are who they want to be, I suppose.
Renegades.
And they are, they operate outside the Jedi Order, but they're not necessarily bad. I suppose it's kind of, maybe they're, I don't know, would you say they're similar to Mandalorians in the fact that they do their own thing and they're not really on the light or the dark side, they're just kind of...
Yeah, they're like anti-heroes almost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's what I like about the Mandalorians, to be honest, is the fact that they are kind of, they're good, but they can be viewed as bad as well. Like, there's not really, it's a very, pardon the pun, a grey area. But, you know what I mean? Mandalorians are fantastic. I would say Mandalorians, but I like the whole Jedi Sith dynamic more than I like the Mandalorian dynamic. So I would say Mandalorian, but if it's in terms of light and dark, definitely dark. I mean, do you never watch a film, like especially a horror film, and just go, do you know what? Yeah, I hope the killer gets all used. Do you know what I mean? These are just being stupid. Do you know what I mean?
Not everybody. I mean, there's always somebody in a horror film where you go, "Oh, I hope they die."
Yeah.
Horribly.
Aye. Yeah, definitely. I have to bring up Legos, guys. I have to bring up Legos. Because obviously talking to you guys love building Legos, and I can see Legos behind you as well. You just need to show us that backdrop, man. Like, you just need to show us that backdrop. That's amazing.
Yeah, there's loads
We
there.
move.
I don't even think that's everything, is it?
I don't think it's everything.
I mean,
that's incredible.
The majority of this has been built in lockdown, so but yeah, it's great. And then they've got the little, if it hopefully doesn't break.
It shouldn't break. No.
The wee 20th anniversary, like imagine.
Oh my God, so cool.
All the sets.
Yeah.
And it's like 20th anniversary, so it's all the wee yellow kind of Lego figures.
That's great.
But yeah, absolutely love them.
Ones, they are pretty cool.
But yeah, Lego's great. You know, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't until I started working in the toy shop part-time that it kind of introduced me to Lego again, and I was like, this is... Because you don't just get a model to display after it, you get the kind of joy of building it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the cool thing is, if I can get my X-Wing,
yeah,
you can get like stands and stuff for them now.
That's amazing.
So you get the stand and everything, so it's
so
really cool
yeah.
for displaying. So I really like them. But yeah.
Right, what's your favourite build? Sorry, Damien.
Just that leads on to your question. Like my favourite build, because that was I bought the Slave 1, and then for my birthday, Vicky bought me the stand for it, which actually has it up so as if it's flying.
That's incredible, yeah.
I know the Millennium Falcon's working. But yeah, that would be my favourite, the Slave 1, because again, I bought because I obviously I work in the same shop as Vicky does. And we had that set on the shelf for ages, and for ages I was saying I was going to buy it.
Yeah.
And then obviously I was anticipating going into hospital for an operation. I was like, I'll buy it, and then that'll be my recuperation thing. And then obviously in the lockdown, so I decided I'll just build it like for something to do. And then that kind of opened this floodgate of just buying loads of Lego while we were on lockdown. So. Yeah,
it's definitely a good way to spend your time. Do you know, definitely a good way to spend time during lockdown, especially. Do you know what I mean? It gives you something to concentrate on. It keeps your mind busy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say.
It's good. I mean, my favourite is Millennium Falcon.
It's amazing. The Millennium Falcon in any form is amazing, but especially like detail in it.
It's such a cool build, but see the big one that you can get from Lego, like the
UCS one.
Yeah, it's incredible. And then the Star Destroyer as well. It's just unbelievable. But
it's because I have the Millennium Falcon that was the one before that they released for The Force Awakens, and even then it was when you were building that one, it's different. That one is still different from the one that I have. So they're constantly changing them, constantly updating them, which is another really cool thing to do. Because I mean, I've actually written down here, like, because I bought the first piece of Star Wars Lego I ever bought. I bought it in Florida, at the Star Tours shop. Like when you come out of the ride, you go straight out into this shop. And I bought the snow speeder set, 'cause I always liked the snow speeders. I always thought they were really cool. And I took it back to the hotel room that night, built it all up and all that. I still have it. I was 18, so that's 16 years ago. I had that, and then I bought the 20th anniversary one for you, and it's similar, but again, it's like updated. So it's really cool, like how they keep just making it a little bit better every time they bring it out. You know, a wee bit more detailed, a wee bit more articulate. It's cool.
Oh, definitely. 1-to-1 scale. That's the next step. 1-to-1 scale.
Well, that's what the big
scale
Millennium Falcon is essentially. The big Millennium Falcon's to scale with the minifigures, I think.
Ah, right. Okay.
So
yeah.
It's
incredible.
It's huge. It's like it's a bit that big.
That's incredible. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I keep overlooking? Actually, I keep forgetting about Star Tours. Like, I love Star Tours. Every time I go to Disneyland Paris quite a lot, and I love Star Tours. It makes me a bit more travel sick now. The older I get, the more travel sick I get. Like, I get really horribly travel sick on it, but I can't not go on it. I just love it. Do you know what I mean? It's so good. Like, I mean, Star Wars, anything. Do you know what I mean? But especially a Star Wars ride, something that you can actually experience. Do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
Because Star Tours was really cool. Because like, when did I can't remember the last time I was in Disneyland in Paris, but it was just before. Because now there's like different versions of it. So every time you go on,
right.
it's like a different journey. And it was last time I went, it was just before that, and I'd love to go just to see what kind of journey I get. You know.
Yeah.
But I love that ride. That's a great. It's because I always, when you do the hyperspeed bit, I always do this. Put my hands up and my legs out.
Like, yeah, do what? Full experience. Let's do it.
You can feel it like.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's the fact that you're not really going anywhere, but even if you shut your eyes, you can still feel the motion, and it still makes you feel a bit sick. I think that's crazy. Do you know what I mean? You're literally not moving that far at all. It's mental. It's crazy. But I'm jumping all over at tangents here, because there's so many things I'm thinking of that I want to ask you guys. Right, what would you say your favourite film was out of all of them? And I know that's another hard question, but I'm going to be asking the hard questions today. Empire. Yeah, that's a classic. Absolutely.
Yeah, Empire for me, but a very, very close follow-up is Rogue One.
Yeah, that's like a Marmite film for a lot of people almost.
Oh,
like,
yeah, it is.
It's so strange. It's when you talk to people that have if you talk to people that have watched Star Wars and love Star Wars for years, I find that they love Rogue One, because obviously it fills in quite a substantial space in Star Wars. But there's at the same time, there's a lot of people that they'll watch it and they'll go, "That was boring." Do you know what I mean? There was no Jedi in it or anything like that. And I'm like, yeah, but you don't get it. You need to get it. You know what I mean? Like, look at it for what it is. It's so intense. You know, it's such an intense film.
It is. It's a war film.
Yes.
That's the kind of film it is, and it's fantastic. And it, even though at the end is so tragic, it's still it's still uplifting in a sense.
Oh no, absolutely.
Also, like, it's the first standalone Star Wars film that's out with the Skywalker saga, which I thought was brilliant to have that. It had all new characters, and then that final scene with Darth Vader, I think for a lot of fans, it brought Darth Vader back, because the prequels, I think, diluted Darth Vader a lot.
No, yeah.
Because when I was a kid, I was terrified of Darth Vader. But then you watch the prequels and then you see Anakin as this whiny kind of little kid, and you're like, that's Darth Vader. And then, so you don't get to see him. So I thought Rogue One kind of brought, for the fans, the Darth Vader we kind of always wanted to see, that ruthless killer machine that he was built up to be in the original trilogy. So I think that's why Rogue One is so clever, and it was a really well made film.
Well, it's because when I was sitting thinking about this last night, because Empire is obviously my favourite, and then I had like Jedi as my second, and then as I thought about it, I was like, no, I think Rogue One's my second, purely for that reason.
He's just copying me.
Purely for that reason, but it's because I've actually we'll come to it later, but like I mean, like the reason I like it is because the same reason I like Empire, because it ends on a downer, sort of.
Yeah.
You know, like there isn't a sort of clear winner. There's like everybody's kind of come to the end, and it's sort of a dark place, but then they bring it back again with that hope, and then and then you can finish that and go straight in to A New Hope as well. So you can pretty much you could sit and watch it as one 5-hour-long film. You know, it's could be just sit like. But yeah, no, Empire's definitely my favourite. Just because it's darker in tone. As I say, I always like films that end on a downer. You've got Vader's revelation, and then, but that was always like, because it was always something that was referenced and stuff. You kind of knew it anyway, you know.
Yeah.
Like before you'd seen it, like it was different if you'd seen it for the first time in the cinemas when it was released. But because I think even the copy of Return of the Jedi that I spoke about, the VHS, had a trailer, had trailers to the beginning, and that is in the trailer before you even start Return of the Jedi. So if that was the first one you'd seen, you've got that. So, but yeah, it's I think I've said before, there's no such thing as a perfect, 100% perfect movie, but I think that's near as perfect as you're going to get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has 21st Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
As well, like your first appearance of Emperor Palpatine. I think it's a hologram in Empire Strikes Back. But then you've got Yoda and Luke's training, and then the Cloud City kind of lightsaber duel between Vader and Luke is just, and then that reveal, like the reveal of "No, I am your father." Like, that's an iconic cinema moment, and it's always going to be. I mean, now most people know it, so it's not like they watch it probably and already know that Darth Vader's, Luke's father. But at the time, that was, and it was such a well kept secret.
Yeah, I know. Definitely.
But because I was just thinking as well, like, because it also introduces, just in one scene, like the bounty hunters.
Oh yeah, that one shot, even that is an incredible shot. Yeah,
and like you don't know, and you don't even get to know their names at that point, but the fans love them, you know. And then they ended up getting their own backstories and stuff. So it influences a lot more of it, I think. Yeah. A lot more of the wider sort of universe.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And you've also got to give acknowledgement to John Williams and the music. But
absolutely. The atmosphere from that alone is incredible. Make or break a scene.
Yeah, because that's the first time you hear it in the trilogy. Is the Imperial is an Empire, and then that became Darth Vader's theme tune. You know, so when you hear that, you think of him. You know. So
yeah, it's terrifying. It's truly terrifying when you look at it from the outside. Like, obviously, you're watching it for years, you kind of get accustomed to all the characters and stuff. But see, even just if you just, I've always take a step back and I just go, wow, it's terrifying. So even you see like the rows and rows of stormtroopers and Darth Vader at the helm, it's absolutely frightening. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so intense. You know.
Yeah. But then, because again, you also, I think there's a slight change in his character from the first one to Empire. I think in it's because he's more sort of ruthless.
Oh yeah.
In the second one, but then you could also say that's because he's his drive to get Luke. You know. So it's because he's pursuing him because he's destroyed the Death Star, and then he finds out that it's his son, and so he's trying to, you know, there's a slight change in his character. He's in it like he's not as emotive as he is in the first one.
Yeah.
You know, because he doesn't shout at all, but he shouts in the first one. You know, right at the beginning of the first one he shouts, but everything in the second one it's calm, it's measured, it's you know, it's more menacing.
Yeah,
that's when I think to me that's the quintessential Darth Vader character, you know, which you get back in Rogue One.
Yeah,
so, you know,
amazing. Amazing. I'm going to put up a spoiler alert here. I didn't think to do this at the start in case anyone is watching through them at the moment and wants a bit of background. There are going to be spoilers in this because we're going to be talking about the Mandalorian and stuff as well. So there's going to be spoilers right the way through.
Yeah.
And if you didn't know that Darth Vader is Luke's father, then and you've watched Star Wars already, then you need to go back and rewatch them.
Is that why you laughed when I said that?
No, not at all. No, I was like, it was one of those things I thought I just wanted to kind of give a reaction to as if I didn't know, but nah.
He's what?
No, he's not. What? No. That was that wee guy that hates sand. That's Darth Vader you're talking about. The next one thing I wanted to really want to know is that it might not actually be from your favourite film because mine isn't from. I'd say Empire or A New Hope probably would be my favourite, but my favourite scene or line isn't actually from either of them. What would you guys say is your favourite scene or line or both? Like just favourite cinematic moment.
Well, my favourite scene is what we've just talked about is Vader in the corridor in Rogue One.
Yeah, oh yeah.
For the reasons because you like I've read like the books and stuff as well, like the kind of expanded stuff that came out later, and you don't see that Vader, but it's mentioned and you hear about it, and people fear him because of this and that, and then that's the first time you really see it, and it's just Vader being a badass, you know. And it's like because I remember when I went to see it the first, because I went to see Rogue One 3 times in the first week, and like I saw it the first time myself. And the second time I went with one of my mates, and when I knew that scene was coming up, I was sitting like, "Come on, it's like it's going to be great." You know, because I was so looking forward to that scene when it's just darkness. You hear the breath, and then the lightsaber sparks, and then he just wipes them out. It's awesome.
It's so good. Yeah, definitely.
But then I've got my favorite line. My favorite line is it's not even in the movies if this is allowed.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It's in one of the comics, one of the new comics that Marvel did, and it's a comic called Vader Down, and it's set just after A New Hope, and Vader's on Luke Skywalker's trail, and Luke Skywalker finds out about this planet that might have a Jedi temple on it, so he goes to it. Vader tracks him down. The rebels find out that Vader is pursuing him, and then there's a scene where there's all these rebel troopers and they've got Vader surrounded, and they're like, "Lay down your weapons, we have you surrounded." And Vader says, "All I am surrounded by is fear," sparks up the lightsaber, and dead men. I love that line.
Yeah, yeah. That sounds
again,
amazing.
it's that badass Vader that we kind of lost, but now is sort of back, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
But then he's got loads of great lines, like kind of honourable mentions, like he is as clumsy as he is stupid, and I love those lines that he does, you know?
Yeah.
It's the kind of deadpan, slightly jokey ones, you know? They're pretty good. I like those ones.
Amazing. That's a good line. I've never seen that before. I heard that. That's amazing. That's brilliant.
It's awesome. It's such a good line.
For me, probably my favourite scene would probably be the Death Star attack, Battle Yavin.
Yeah.
I think, and like, I don't know. You look a bit lost.
I know, I do. I'm just thinking about it. That's a great scene.
Like, for me as a kid, A New Hope was the first film I saw, and that scene with the X-Wings and everyone, and you'd have, like, Wedge and Biggs and Porkins, and it also is like a coming-of-age kind of thing for Luke as well, where it's that point he kind of becomes a man, I suppose. He was this little boy at the start of A New Hope, and then he comes and he destroys the Death Star. Spoiler. And
Spoiler.
That scene for me is brilliant. Lines, favourite line. I do love Yoda's do or do not.
Backwards lines and all amazing.
There is no try. And I also like even though
Do
or do not,
Yeah.
there is no try.
because he does that as well.
Yeah, I kind of like use that myself now, even like because obviously I know you leave from acting and college and things like that. That I still kind of use that now when I kind of feel like I'm giving up and stuff. It's like, no, if you don't do it, then do you know what I mean? Things aren't gonna work. You've got to kind of put that effort in and actually. So I do like that. However, you can't talk about Star Wars. Well, for me, Han and Leia and the iconic scene in the carbonite and she blurts out, "I love you," and he just goes, "I know," which seemingly I actually put down because seemingly the original line was supposed to be, "Just remember that, Leia, I'll be back," or something similar to that. And it made me think, because that was before Terminator, and it made me think, if that line had stayed in Star Wars,
oh wow, yeah,
would
that's
yeah. For Terminator?
Or would it be going, oh, he's quoting Star Wars? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I was like,
yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It just reminded me when I read it. I was like, that's like Terminator.
Because I know the thing about, because one of the ideas was that he would say, "I love you" back, and Harrison Ford was like, he wouldn't say that.
No.
You know, but he wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a great line.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because it really shows the character as well.
Oh yeah.
He is like this total
but then
arrogant, swaggering. Yeah.
Leia does get her own back in Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
When they're fighting.
It's a good callback. Yeah.
And he says, and she just goes, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
So that is.
Yeah. I think for me, I don't see favourite lines. I've got loads of favourite lines. I wouldn't even hazard a favourite. I wouldn't say, but I think my favourite scene, it's a whole sequence. It's not even just one scene. Is Boonta Eve pod racing. That I love the pod racing is fucking incredible, man.
Okay.
It's the sounds more than the actual cinematics of it. The actual sounds, the sound of the pod racers is just incredible, And the way that Anakin's pod racer kind of breaks down halfway through, and it's just brilliant. I just love it. Such a good sequence.
Yeah, that is actually a really good. You've just kind of reminded me of it, but it is a really great sequence. That whole thing.
Yeah.
And like in that movie, where's it going? In that movie, that's the kind of first really, really exciting sort of bit.
Yeah.
I feel, Yeah.
Well, talking about that film, the lightsaber duel at the end with Darth Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Qui-Gon Jinn is just
amazing.
It's outstanding. It's the music. Do you know what I mean? The music makes the scene as well.
Because Duel of the Fates. I'll tell you, there's a funny story about that. Like, it was when did I go up to Dundee for Craig's sort of certificate? So my brother's was at Dundee University, and he was getting like a kind of certificate thing last year, and I was up, and they've got a big in the auditorium where they were giving it away. They had a big pipe organ, and they played like the anthem and stuff. But when we were leaving, I was like sitting, I was like, that's Duel of the Fates. Like, so the person playing the organ was playing Duel of the Fates.
That's amazing.
Brilliant. It was so good. And I was like, when I saw my brother after, I was like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah, it was great.
I want that at my graduation.
It was brilliant.
But it was instant. Like, I recognised it instantly. The kind of quiet. So if you hear the whole score of that, it starts off really quiet, and he was playing it really quiet, and builds and builds and builds and builds. But it was weird to hear on an organ. It was so bizarre.
Seemingly, Ewan McGregor during that the fight scene, he was so heavy-handed with the lightsabers and used to hit them really hard that he broke them during every take, and he went through 300 lightsabers.
Fuck's sake, man. You think you'd have to check yourself after the first maybe 5 or something? Do you know what I mean? You'd be like, right, maybe I need to tone it down a wee bit.
But then, one of my favourite things I learned, again, fairly recently, was that whenever they had to keep cutting because Ewan McGregor, Liam Neeson, And even they had to do it with Laura Dern in the new movies as well. They kept making the noises themselves during the film. But there's a bit you can actually see. I'm sure there's footage. If you're watching Laura Dern in the new one, you can see her mouth in the pew. Like
Yeah. That's
I
incredible.
would do that.
Just turn into a big wave. Just
I think you would though, because I mean, like Star Wars is so close to a lot of people's hearts, especially from when they were younger, and then obviously a lot of people grew up with it and evolved with it. So like to be in a Star Wars film, do you know what I mean? It's everyone's dream, do you know what I mean? But to be in a Star Wars film and then to not make the noises, do you know what I mean? Because you know what I mean?
Because obviously, if you're filming, you can't hear it.
Yes.
So you have to like pretend.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing.
But no, that was a good one. And that scene.
That scene.
Yeah.
I'm actually another scene that I really like, and it's an unpopular opinion, and it goes on to any more unpopular opinions that I have. Is I love the kind of the Colosseum scene from Attack of the Clones, the big battle from Attack of the Clones inside the kind of the Colosseum with I can't even remember what the actual name of that scene is. Can't remember, but see where they're all chained up, where Anakin and
Do you mean the name of the planet?
Aye, what is the name of the planet? Geonosis, that was it. It was on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't. Was it Geonosis?
Where the clones were made? No.
Yeah, so it is.
I'll remember.
I couldn't. That scene anyway. I love that scene. I think that's how I think Attack of the Clones is a good film. I'm just gonna say it. I don't think it's bad. Like, I think.
Why? Why do you think it's a good film?
I think it gives you. See, obviously, I know that Anakin's a little whiny bitch boy in it, but it gives you an insight into why he is the way he is. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole thing with his mother getting killed by the Sand People, and it's all got a link. I think they could have linked that better for him, obviously becoming the kind of going over to the dark side. I think they could have done it better, but I think it does it justice in a way. It's not good, but it does it justice in a way. I enjoyed I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I know what I'm trying to say, but I don't know what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Hayden Christensen, done a good job for what he had. I do. Honestly, that's a very unpopular opinion, but I think he's a good actor. The guy's good, but I think that Anakin's character developed better. Right, touche.
I think it's because I would say I've only ever seen him in one other film, Jumper.
Right. Yeah.
Which was not a good film.
But seeing
despite the cast, it was a great cast. The film was not great.
To be fair, though, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Samuel Jackson, and then you've got Christopher Lee. They're all known for being amazing actors. We've seen other things, and they are. But I even feel in the Star Wars prequels, they didn't give their best performances.
No, I get that. Yeah.
In a sense, does that come down to? I don't know, because a lot of it was filmed in green screen, so was it because they didn't have things around them to react and whatever to? Was it because I suppose back then green screen, it was all, that's when technology was changing for films, and George Lucas wants to,
it was kind of relatively new, yeah.
So actors didn't have a lot of maybe experience with those, so maybe that's why, or did George Lucas just not, as a director, give them enough to work with? Or I mean, I don't know. I just kind of felt that the acting was a bit bland.
No, I get that. Yeah, I do get that. Yeah.
In the Star Wars films, which was just a bit disappointing. But the dialogue, and that was Kylo that made that noise there. The dialogue as well, I think, is quite weak, especially in Attack of the Clones.
Is it Attack of the Clones that's got that line that I hate?
But one, I don't like sand.
Oh,
sand being and all that, yeah.
Coarse and rough and irritating.
It's Obi-Wan, and it's I mean, it's really out of place. It's good call, my young Padawan. And I mean, God bless him. Ewan McGregor did it if he could, but I think it's a horrible line. Like,
Yeah, that's when they're chasing down. That's when they're chasing down the bounty hunter. Isn't it?
Thing. I'm pretty sure it's the second one.
I think it is. I think it's when they're chasing down the bounty hunter. I think it's during that kind of sequence.
Yeah. I think it's a really. Every time I hear it, I cringe. Like, I just go.
I mean, if only.
I don't think it suits the character. I don't know. It's just so weird. It feels really out of place to me. It's so weird. It's so strange.
I just kind of feel if only everybody knew that all they had to do was pour sand in Darth Vader's suit, and it would have been all over.
Yeah.
If those rebels had laid down sand in that corridor, they'd have been fine.
He likes everything to be soft and smooth. I think because the way
it's
I think that's. I mean, I just think the whole love story between Anakin and Padme as well, I just thought was really drawn out and kind of boring. And Attack of the Clones, it was just a slow-moving film, a slow burner, and
it's also slightly creepy.
Yeah,
ever so slightly creepy.
Yeah.
It's slightly stalkerish. Very weird. Like,
I mean, Phantom Menace wasn't great, but it had some really good scenes. For me, Revenge of the Sith was the best out of scenes.
Yeah.
And it's actually the only one that I owned in DVD or bought as a home copy. It's up there. It's up there, yeah.
Right. I can see it.
It's the only one that I bought because it was the only one that I actually thought was worth the kind of rewatch. Obviously, I have rewatched the prequels since. But yeah, Attack of the Clones is just probably my least favourite.
Definitely it's certainly the weakest of the three. And I flip between Phantom Menace or that being worse. But I think, on balance, Attack of the Clones is the worst of the three for me.
Sorry, Lee.
Sorry.
I love that scene. I just think that scene's good. No, but
Well, it has some good moments in it, but I think as a whole, because one of the things I think tries to, because obviously the Phantom Menace set a sort of political sort of element to it, like the intrigue and all that kind of thing. And Attack of the Clones built on that a wee bit, and it feels kind of forced and not very well thought out. And what?
Kyle's growling at us.
He's obviously disagrees.
Kyle likes it.
Is Kylo a Jar Jar Binks fan as well? I've crossed the line. I love Jar Jar Binks. I think he's great. I honestly think he's great. He didn't do anything wrong in the films.
Bye, see you later.
Press the hang up button. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. There's a lot of people that hate. There's like a community of people that hate Jar Jar Binks.
I get he deserves that amount of hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get he's a complete he's a clumsy fool. He's a clumsy fool. But I don't know. He does a lot of good. He does a lot of good as well. And he's a good soul. He's a nice pet. He's a nice wee guy. You know what I mean? He's a nice wee gungan.
Got to remember, George Lucas made these films for kids.
True.
They are. Adults love them, but they were a kids' film.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Binks he brought in probably for that reason. But I just find it so laughable. I sat in the cinema watching Phantom Menace and I laughed every time he came on stage. So
not
on
for
stage,
for the right reason.
No.
Yeah.
But it was.
He was funny.
It entertained me, but not in the way that I probably hoped to be entertained from a Star Wars movie that I'd waited a while to.
I mean, like I agree, like with the whole, it's for kids, families, but he's too cartoonish.
No, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he was a caricature of himself, basically.
It goes too far that way. For me, but then I was like, obviously he's a diminished role in the other two movies, so I think less is more, you know, because he plays quite an important role in. Is it the second one where it's him that calls for the vote for the the army, you know. So that he does play an important role, because we started watching the Clone Wars series when we set up Disney Plus, and there was one of the episodes, and I can't remember what it was called. It had part of his name in the title, and I was sitting thinking, oh no, this is a Jar Jar episode, like, and it's kind of like he's kind of a main focus in it, and it's just, I was just like, nah, I think he's better as a sort of bit part.
Yeah, no, I get that. I agree with that.
You know, less is more.
But then this kind of brings me on to when you're saying there's Star Wars fans there that have a community that hate Jar Jar Binks. Unpopular opinions, it's not really my unpopular opinion, but it's unpopular things that Star Wars fans do is attack the actors that play these roles.
Oh, I can't stand that. Yeah.
It's he was one of them. Was it Ahmed Best?
Ahmed Best
that played Jar Jar Binks.
Because I think he didn't do very much at all after that, if anything.
But then more recently, like Kelly Tran was racially attacked by fans after, you know, the new films, and
for a character that she played.
It's the characters they don't like, but they seem to attack the actors behind it. And I just think that's when Star Wars fans take things a wee bit too far.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's I would say it's a very unpopular opinion that a lot of Star Wars fans probably have about something they can't, because Kelly Tran, she was said something like it sent her into a downward spiral of hate, like self-hate. She hated herself and she came off social media. Daisy Ridley came off social media because of the fans.
Because it'll probably cause them to doubt themselves.
Yeah. Not their ability and them as a person even sometimes, and it's really that's a shame.
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley actually spoke out recently about how she found the atmosphere from the start of The Force Awakens, you know, fans at the premiere, and then The Last Jedi, obviously everyone was still really excited, and then the backlash came for that. But then she said The Rise of Skywalker, she said there was such a different atmosphere. You know, it was like the fans hated them all of a sudden. And I was like, that's just like, it's such a shame.
I think there's people that were geared up to hate it though.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah, they're all
already biased. I don't know if that's maybe because it's Disney owned now, or.
Nah, I don't. I think it's because everyone was so excited when The Force Awakens was coming out, and the majority of people loved it. A lot of people said, you know, it was a bit of a mirror image of A New Hope and whatever, but then when The Last Jedi, everything just blew up. And then obviously Kelly Marie Tran got abuse for that. And it's like JJ seemingly warned Daisy Ridley, and he went, this is not just a role in a movie, this is a religion to people. Talking about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And to me, it just takes it too far. For me, there'll be films of Star Wars that I don't necessarily like we're saying Attack of the Clones, and we're talking about, you know, The Last Jedi, but there's parts in it that I can go, oh yeah, but I mean, that scene was good, and, you know, Rian Johnson was he's a fantastic director. I like a lot of his films. Knives Out was an incredible movie. So he's a good director, and there were some of the scenes, like I love the Kylo and Rey battle scene against Imperial Guards.
The first one, that was really cool.
And then the whole scene with Luke and Kylo, I really liked on that planet with the, you know, it was like the red. It was just very cleverly shot. Yeah. So I can go and enjoy a movie. And as much as I love Star Wars, and it's like I've got so much Star Wars stuff and things, I still always take a wee step back from things like that, because I think it just can get a wee bit too much. I don't tend to read a lot of what fans say now about Star Wars, because it just annoys me. It's like they sabotage it now just because, they've ruined the full Star Wars saga for me. They haven't ruined anything.
Well, you can still watch
I mean,
the
the
original.
original trilogy is always going to be the same. Well, apart from George Lucas tweaking it a little bit now and again, but it's still like the same films. Like that's not going to change. It just changes probably the story arc of the characters slightly. But
Yeah.
sorry, I'm going off in tangents.
No, because the thing
No,
is,
it's good.
the new
And shot
ones-
first, by the way. And shot first.
He did.
He did.
And Solo proves that.
Oh, the movie Soul, yeah, it really does.
Because like he shoots first at the very end of that. Spoiler alert! Sorry, everybody. It's but because he does, and like again, Solo, like that was the one. I mean, it didn't get a lot of hate, but I don't think it's as appreciated as it should be because I've watched it since and I enjoy it more.
Yeah.
After the initial first time I saw it, you know, but it's. I think the issue with the sequel trilogy is that each one reacted to something negative about the one before it, you know, and it kind of led to like inconsistencies and things like that. You know, it's and as you say, it's not the actor's fault. It's, you know, it's the creative sort of element of it. You know,
how horrible would it be if you, like me personally, if I got a part in a Star Wars film, I'd be my life would be made. I'd be like ecstatic and it'd be amazing. And then imagine then you turn around and get all that backlash from it for like years after. It just like even Christian got it as well from fans. Like I might think, oh, I didn't really like his performance, whatever, but I'm not going to take to social media and like hound the guy or say I'm never watching that again because it's just not.
Yeah, I mean, just don't.
I don't care what Disney do. At the end of the day, like,
because they're going to do it anyway.
Whatever, yeah, they're going to do it anyway. And at the end of the day, I've still got the original trilogies that I'll always watch, and they're always going to be the ones that I fall back to. So it doesn't really matter what they do. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm going on a big tangent about stuff.
But. Star Wars games. I have not played.
Time for me to go.
I've not played Jedi Fallen Order yet. How is it?
Do you know what? I enjoyed it. It's quite tricky at first. Like it kind of punishes you for not playing well, if you know what I mean. Right. Like you have to, as you go along, you learn new skills, and that unlocks new areas and stuff, obviously. But like as you do that, enemies get more difficult, and the terrain gets more difficult. Like because you go to Dathomir, where Darth Maul and that's from, right? So when you go there, it's really, really difficult. So I'd like somebody, I was playing it, and somebody would go there last once you've got all your skills and stuff. But like it's really fun to play. The story is really cool as well. And well, you've not played it, so I can't even say about the ending.
Spoiler.
I don't mind. I'm one of these people that see if it's got a good ending, then I'm happy, even if I know what it is. See if something's got a bad ending, I need to know before I watch it. I need to prepare myself for that. Do you know what I mean?
It's a good ending. It's an unexpected ending.
Right.
It's quite fun. The kind of last bit. I actually found it quite tricky. Like there was one bit I had to keep redoing because it's a time jump and all that kind of stuff. But like it's really good. I'm actually looking forward to when they do a sequel to it, because as I say, it's set between I'll say it's probably set before Rogue One, right? I'll leave it at that. But it also gives you a bit of backstory about Clone Wars stuff, other sort of. It leads into like things that happen later as well. So, like, for example, you go to a planet that I didn't realize until somebody mentioned it to me. Can't remember who, but it was like you go to this planet that I even forget the name of. I'm terrible with these. And it's like there's a big canyon carved in it. And it looks like it's actually been carved. And then somebody said to me, "Oh, that's Starkiller Base." And you're like, "Oh, right, from Force Awakens." And then it's just a big trench around the whole planet, it's really, really cool. So it's like it takes stuff from the lore and remains kind of faithful to it.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool. And there's a cool wee kind of flashback scene in it that takes place when Palpatine initiates Order 66, and you have to it's a flashback scene for your character, and you have to get away from the clones and stuff.
That sounds terrifying. Amazing.
It's really cool because it's when your character is a Padawan.
Yeah.
And there's also because I think I told you like almost immediately the wee droid companion that you have in it, BD9. I love him. Like, he's just amazing.
The droids are the best.
He's up there with R2D2 as like just a character. He's great.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing I saw Do is just
he's awesome.
Man. Incredible wee droid, man. So cool.
There's a wee Do there.
Aye, so cute.
I want to see more Do.
Yeah,
as well.
I
agree with that. Yeah, definitely. We should start a petition.
Yeah.
The only game I remember playing was Battlefront, and I wouldn't even play the game. I would literally just go into a mode where I could be Darth Vader, and I would go in and like use my lightsaber and kill lots of stormtroopers and anything that came in my sight. I'd kill the stormtroopers, I'd kill Jedis, I'd kill whatever. I'd just go on a killing rampage as Darth Vader. That's all I would do. I literally have no gaming skills. So
I know. Well, she said you wanted to try Fallen Order. So.
Yeah, I want to try
because before we did this as well, I was going to say like I should have let you seen Fallen Order a little bit.
Yeah.
But
I probably won't be any good.
I mean, as far as like other games go for Star Wars, I mean, I used to love, like I've said before, like I loved the PC ones, like the flight sim ones.
Yeah.
You know, when you were flying X-wings, like X-wing was obviously you're in the Rebel side, and then TIE Fighter was like the Imperial side, and it was just basically missions from the kind of stories like the movies and things like that. But then there was X-Wing Alliance, which was a great game as well, which was like it was set sort of during Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, but it also you did Rebel missions, but it was also it was about a family of freighters, like they owned a freighter company, so you did family missions as well in this like really cool Corellian freighter and stuff.
Yeah,
and you got tokens from the missions and all that. That was really great fun. I actually bought that on holiday in Houston. I saw it in Walmart for like $10. I was like, grab it. My uncle was like, you can play it in the computer in the house. It was great. But and then but like going back to the Lego as well. The Lego games are great. The Lego Star Wars.
I play more Lego games. I played Lego Star Wars years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I never went back to any Lego games, and I need to play more. Basically, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Because I didn't play that. They brought out a Clone Wars one, which was supposed to be really good, but it didn't receive much fanfare or anything when it was coming out. It's strange, but they're bringing out the whole Skywalker saga. I think it's in October, so I'm definitely going to get that because I loved it. Because it was the prequel trilogy they brought out first as a game, and then they brought out the original trilogy, and that was so much fun. Like, it was so good. Like because you got to do the Battle of Hoth, and you could trip up the AT-ATs and stuff. It was great fun. It's great fun.
Brilliant.
But any of the Lego games for anything are always fun. So Star Wars is always going to be a good thing for that, you know. But there's also because there's a new game that they're announcing as well in a couple of days. In fact, what is this, the third? So it's tomorrow. Yes. They're announcing. It was like Project Maverick. It's called they're not actually. That's its kind of working title.
Yeah.
They're announcing it tomorrow. What it's going to be, and I'm kind of got my fingers crossed. It's going to be like a flight sim sort of fighter.
That would be cool. That would be cool. There's not for that. Yeah.
Because I think that's what they're missing.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
I've heard rumours it's going to be like a mobile game, which was not, which is not exciting.
Mobile games, there's not enough substance in them. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously,
And
maybe
you've
it'll
got
run.
to use them, like, to get any sort of progress.
Oh yeah, definitely. Do you remember years ago I played a arcade game and it was a pod racer.
Yes.
Pod racer simulator. Do you remember that? It was so good.
Yeah.
And then
the levers that you had to do there.
Yeah, it was so good. Like, they got rid of them from everywhere, even like big arcades. They got rid of them, and I don't know why. They must have been.
I wonder where they went. I wonder if people bought them.
People have bought the people that.
Yeah, I was going to say it'll be private collectors probably. Yeah, because it was such a good game, and they were like really sought after. Because like I remember, like Disney had one, and it was a big thing. And I'm like, imagine being a private collector and having something that Disney really wanted. Do you know what I mean? That's incredible. Do you know?
It's like because there was different ones for it, but there was one of the cases you actually sat in Anakin's pod, didn't you?
I think I know. Yeah.
One that was just a seat that you had levers, but there was one that you actually sat in Anakin's pod. I remember that as well. But there was because there was around about the same time there was the Star Wars trilogy arcade game as well. That was it was a joystick, and it combined sort of fighter missions with you had to shoot and target, and then there was the boss fights were like Darth Vader, and you had to block his lightsaber attacks. Yeah. Impossible. It was just it was insane. I just remember putting loads of money in that in the holiday and when I was wee one time. Trying to beat Darth Vader, I just couldn't.
Yeah, you believe you can do it. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, I was playing Battlefront 2 semi-recently. I've not played it recently at all. But Anakin is so OP, it actually hurts me to play against him. When we're doing heroes versus villains, Anakin is so OP, it's overpowered, it's disgusting. Do you know what I mean? It's ridiculous. I just don't understand. You can be any other character, and you're not winning against Anakin unless you're a far superior player. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I only recently got Battlefront 2. So my level is way low. so I've got a lot of catching up to do for those, but because I didn't like the first Battlefront so much.
Yeah.
I got it when it came out, and then it became a bit sort of samey, and I lost interest in it. So I wasn't too bothered about getting Battlefront 2, but I kind of wished I'd got it at the time because there was a lot of problems with it, and then they fixed it. But because they weren't as good as the original Battlefront games that were out for the PS2. Was it PS2, PS3? Because the original Battlefront 2 was brilliant. The campaign mode was you were a clone trooper, and it was going to all the different planets and doing missions and stuff.
Yeah.
That was great. That was a great game. The campaign mode for that was brilliant. Which is, I feel like a lot of those games suffer from the campaign is very weak.
Yeah.
And most people just want to play online, which I'm not hugely keen on. I'd rather play a story. I mean, online's fun, but I'd rather play a story.
Oh, definitely.
Especially a Star Wars story, you know.
Yeah, it's like creating your own Star Wars story almost, depending on what way you play it. If there's variables and stuff, you're playing your own Star Wars story. Do you know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
It's really good. Do you know what I mean? Did you play? I've forgotten the name. Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed games.
My brother had that for the Wii.
The Wii. Oh my god, man! Why didn't I think of that? Why didn't I think to buy that for the Wii? That's incredible.
My younger brother had it for the Wii, and I for ages I kept because I had a PS3. I've always had PlayStation, but for ages I kept saying I need to get it. I'll need to get it. I played some of it on the Wii, but it's exhausting. But it was a fun game. It was and the story was really cool behind it and stuff. For the Wii, because I played the demo for it on the PlayStation, and you could see a definite difference in graphic quality and stuff as well.
Yeah.
So that's why I really wanted to get it for the PlayStation, but I never did, which is quite annoying. But it was a good, fun game. Like, it's basically because it was fun on the Wii because you were doing the lightsaber stuff, and then like you did that
That'd be cool.
to do the forced push.
Yeah.
Like you did that, and it's in like the stormtroopers flew away in front. You know, it was great fun.
Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah,
I'd like that.
Totally. Yeah.
Amazing. It's brilliant.
Well, that's why, like, a good. See if they brought out like a good Star Wars VR game, that would be fantastic.
Oh, absolutely.
That would
Yeah.
be so good.
Take all of my money. Do you know what I mean? Just absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
VR's incredible. I mean, VR's absolutely incredible. I've not played an actual game with it, but I was in a Van Gogh painting once and I freaked out a wee bit. I'll be honest. It's terrifying because when you're walking about, you know what I mean? It's as if you're there. Like, I remember people saying to me, "Oh, it's as if you're there," and I'm like, "Talk nonsense! You're looking through a wee screen. No, I believed it. I was sold. As soon as I tried VR, I was sold. Do you know what I mean? Incredible.
There is a Star Wars VR game because I saw something about it, and I don't know if it's coming out or if it's already out, but they're bringing out a kind of it's a Vader one where you are fighting against Vader, which if you're saying if it's that immersive, that would be terrifying.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They make you
Yeah.
stand in a dark room and the only light is the light off of his lightsaber. On yours, obviously.
I
But
think that was actually one of the screenshots I saw. It's essentially like Alien when he just pops out at you. You know?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
just-
no.
No.
Nope.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Even if they did like a VR kind of thing for like Fallen Order, that would be really cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be like surely that couldn't be too because they did it with lots of stuff.
Yeah.
They just games that already existed and they made them VR compatible. So
Yeah.
you know,
Definitely.
it's good fun.
I mean, they've got the technology for stuff like that these days. You know what I mean? They can do just about anything with anything. Do you know what I mean? So,
'Cause the thing I wanted to try was, is it part of Battlefront 2 and you can do VR missions in an X-Wing?
I'm not sure. It could be. There's a lot of dogfighting in Battlefront 2. So.
I've seen footage of, and it's like somebody looking around the cockpit. So like you're actually like you can
It could well be.
controlling the ship, but you can look around. So, but that would be good as well because then you can see if you look up, you'll see TIE fighters and stuff. You know, if you look in any direction, you're not relying on swinging the ship round all the time. You know, so it's more realistic. So something like that. If that's what this Project Maverick is, by the way, I'm getting.
Oh no, absolutely, yeah.
That's what I'm gonna get.
Aye.
Sold. Take my money. Yeah,
definitely.
Because again, because to me the best Star Wars games are the flight sim ones. Because again, on N64, they had Rogue Squadron, which was a phenomenal game. And again, like the first mission you did was the Battle of Hoth. Always comes back to Empire. Like it's the first mission you did in that was the Battle of Hoth, and then it had like missions from because they had a Rogue Squadron book series as well. So they took missions from that and used that in games. And then they brought out another one for the GameCube, but I never played that. And then even like in N64 again, because I always feel like PlayStation don't get the good Star Wars games, which is really annoying. Because the Xbox obviously had Knights of the Old Republic and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But N64 had Shadows of the Empire as well, which was obviously it was based on the book set between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. And the first mission in that again was Battle of Hoth. You know, like, you do it again. You get to do it in like every good game. It's phenomenal.
Oh yeah,
like Shadows of the Empire. It was a good fun game because you played as Dash Rendar, who was the sort of Han Solo-ish character because he wasn't in it, obviously, because it's all about trying to track him down. But it's a great game. But looking back at I looked at old screen grabs of it and stuff, and it's not aged well at all. Like it looks. That's a game. Like that game would be great for an upgrade, you know.
Yeah.
Like all PlayStation got the kind of raw end of the deal for Star Wars games, I feel, which is kind of my regret. Well, my one regret of having a PlayStation is that I never got like the Knights of the Old Republic games and stuff like that. Yeah. They were amazing. I did play them, but they were really, really good fun. You know.
Brilliant. Yeah, I need to get on to some of the old games again. I play too many of the new ones, and you lose touch with where they all came from. Do you know what I mean?
Like, if you ever played because I think the first Star Wars game I played was Super Star Wars, Nintendo, and it's impossible. Like, it's so difficult. Like, it was and I think because it was Super Return of the Jedi, you actually fight the Sarlacc.
Damn.
like it comes out of the pit, and you have to like smash it with your lightsaber. It's like it's so weird. It's
damn.
It's bizarre. But like, if you try and track down those old games,
definitely.
They're mental. Like, because that's what they did with games in those days. If it was, they just slapped a movie license on it and just did what they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mental. Yeah.
Aye. So who would you guys say is like even just one underrated character or underrated actor in the whole Star Wars franchise? Somebody that's just been like so underrated by like the media or the public or fans or whoever.
You go, because I spoke at length there.
I'm back.
My throat's
I don't know if fans view him as an underrated but Big Starklighter, because to me, see if it wasn't, but I also read somewhere that he's the Burt Reynolds of the rebellion because of his mustache, just this incredible mustache.
But for his mustache alone,
he's
it's a tash. Yeah.
That mustache is underrated. Yeah. No, but for him as a character, there was so many. I mean, loads of people have seen it. The deleted scenes and stuff that showed more of Luke's and Big's kind of relationship. But at the end of the scene, or the end of like A New Hope, he basically willingly sacrifices himself to give Luke a clear shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So if it wasn't for Biggs, Luke would never have been able to do that. So I just kind of feel as a character, it would have been cool to know that character a wee bit more. And it would have been cool. I'd have loved to have a kind of version of A New Hope that included what they wanted to do with those scenes.
Yeah.
I know they released it as a deleted scene and stuff like that, but it'd be so cool to have like a film version of with that kind of character in it, just to see the kind of relationship.
Yeah, because I've got a it's a copy. It's the novelization of the original trilogy, and it has more sort of big stuff in it. And he is really important to Luke, because he's a slightly older. Luke kind of looks up to him.
Yeah.
And then like when he goes, he wants to kind of follow him, because he knows they're going to join. They're signing up to the Empire, but what they're actually doing is they're going to jump ship. It's a kind of like a secret thing. But because I would kind of put Wedge in that category as well, because he, as you say, like he was in that Death Star run. He's the only other person apart from Luke to survive it. Really.
I mean, Wedge does pop up though.
Yeah. He pops up like again, like in the books and stuff. Like he's much more of a major character.
Yeah.
Especially when like Luke goes off to start training Jedi, Wedge steps up and he becomes Red/Rogue leader. So he's like the kind of main kind of pilot, the kind of leader of those guys. But yeah, no, Biggs is definitely up there, because I read because I'll need to give you those books like that actually show you the kind of the scenes that they took away, because they were like it does elevate them a bit more than to just the kind of little throwaway you got in the. It wasn't even in the original cut, was it?
No, thanks.
it wasn't in the original cut. It was only in the special edition. So even then, it was he wasn't really a known guy, you know.
What about you? Do you have one?
Yeah, it's one that I would say more underutilized and underappreciated than anything else. Finn in the last few films, couple of films.
That's
It's-
actually one that I had down.
He was horribly underused, especially in Rise of Skywalker. He was horribly underutilized. Like, John Boyega's a fucking fantastic actor for a start, and I just felt like, right, he's force sensitive, he's a strong character, he's really intelligent, and then they just kind of wasted him in the last film. I was just kind of like, really? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of felt it went from The Last Jedi though as well, because in The Force Awakens he was such a forefront of like The Force Awakens with Rey. They were kind of both in the same, and I just kind of felt that it all became about Rey. And I know it is kind of about the Jedis and whatever else. Everyone wants to see the Jedis and what they're, but Finn, yeah, there was so much more they could have done with that character. Especially the fact he was force sensitive, and then there was bits in The Rise of Skywalker that he was going to speak to Rey, and then you never really find out what he was going to say to Rey and whatever else, and it's just a bit like there was so much of. I think they could have done so much more with Finn.
Well, I read a thing last night. Apparently, you know the bit where they're sinking into the sand, and he's going like, "Rey, I have to tell you something," and everybody thought, "Oh, he was going to say that he loved her," but J.J. Abrams was apparently no, he was going to tell her he was force sensitive.
Yeah.
Like,
never.
I was like, why are you telling us that, JJ? Why did Finn not tell us that? Do you know what I mean?
It didn't become widely known until he tweeted that. So, is that how Star Wars is going to be told via tweet? Like,
it did, because it came up then. Then Rey asked him after they sink through the sandpit, what was he going to say, and he went, "Oh, I'll tell you later." And then Poe brings it up again when they're like thinking they're about to get shot, spoilers, but the First Republic, whatever. And then so it's like 3 times it's brought up, and then you're like, that we never ever found out what that was about.
And what about me, like for people like me who don't have Twitter, you know, like
you're never gonna know.
I'm never gonna know the story.
In fact, you have to clear up such a massive plot point over Twitter, and it's not as if they can like. It's like obviously it's not the same as like soap operas. You don't spoil things in magazines or on social media before you show them. So like, it's not as if they can make another stuff. When
like,
what's that?
If you see those soap magazines,
it's horrible. They spoil everything.
So is that what we need then for Star Wars? Like a Star Wars?
That's what I mean. It's not as if they make another Star Wars film and then they can like release what's going to happen like in the film. He's already told us on Twitter. It's like there's no like mystique there. There's no magic there anymore with that bit of the storyline, you know.
But yeah, it does. I'm trying to think even like because in Last Jedi, him and Rose go off on this side quest.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really have any bearing on anything.
Yeah.
At all. You know?
I felt there was, it's not just Finn, there's a lot of characters, I think, in the new trilogy that were brought in and there wasn't really much to them. There could have been so much more.
Yeah.
Like, Kelly Marie Tran and stuff. Like, I think there could have been so much more with her character as well. Like, though there seemingly was for The Rise of Skywalker, but they had to edit it out.
They cut stuff out. Because the thing is as well, like, I mean, maybe I'm just stupid, but I never even realised until later on that at the beginning of The Last Jedi when it's her sister on the bomber and she stuff. I didn't even realise at first that was her sister.
Oh no, I didn't.
You know, I was like,
I did.
I did.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
You know, I was like, I don't know. Maybe I need more of a exposition or something. You know, like, hey, such and such. You know, it's like. How's your sister Rose? You know, it's like
I mentioned like our parents or something when she's talking to her.
Yeah. Like some little bit before it where you see them talking, and then that's it. Like, it wasn't clear to me that was her sister. You know,
I thought it was because they show the They both got those necklaces and stuff, so it's not hard to put together.
Yeah, but then I thought the significance of the necklace was that they were like not necessarily force sensitives, but like sort of like force worshippers, if you like,
Yeah,
you know,
right.
something like that. You know, I just
No.
I think I just looked at it a different way, I suppose. You know, but then again, like what was his name? DJ in Last Jedi, who Benicio del Toro played.
Oh yeah,
I'd like to see more with him.
Yeah, he
You
wasn't
know?
really. There's lots of characters in that just kind of.
yeah,
They seem to just shoehorn people in just to move the plot along.
Yep.
I feel like again though, like he was part of that whole side quest that didn't really matter. So
Yeah.
you didn't really need it. It's kind of strange. I think it just shows. I think in the sequels it had a sort of lack of cohesive sort of creative, you know.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of like it wasn't as planned out, and as I say, it seemed to like they were like reacting to stuff rather than this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Aim for this, you know. It was just everything seemed kind of thrown in.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I just want to quickly mention as well, someone that I really do think is underrated is Kenny Baker.
Oh
Kenny
yeah, definitely.
R2. There's so many kids, even the people I speak to now, is like, there's an actor in R2D2, and I'm like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah. People think it's just an
It
RC or
wasn't
something.
like,
Yeah.
There was a guy in that in the hot desert, like who was part of like that. So like, there's a lot of people that forget that Kenny Baker, God rest his soul and everything, that he is.
You see footage of him like between takes.
Yeah,
poor
like,
guy getting sprayed down with water and
Yeah.
and the sweat dripping off him in Tunisia, you know.
It's probably because R2 doesn't talk. Like C3PO, everyone kind of knows it's, you know, Anthony Daniels, and it's like, but with R2, I think people just kind of forget. And I think we were trying to discuss this. Was it Warwick Davis that went into R2D2 in the most recent films?
I'm not sure. It could have been, but
I think I looked into it.
not entirely sure.
He was. I don't think he was. I don't think he did.
No.
But like I was just when you're saying that, even like Anthony Daniels as well. Like props to him for like kicking about in the desert and essentially copper piping. You know, that could have been fun.
No.
But as you say, like R2 is one of my favorite characters.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Because but then I was because we were discussing last night. Like it was like how much of that was down to him being in the shell of R2, you know, like the movements, like subtleties and stuff, and he is kind of overlooked.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the underrated character for me is Grand Moff Tarkin.
Oh yeah, Tarkin's cool, man.
Wilhuff Tarkin. That's his first name.
Really?
As I don't know, Wilhuff.
Wilhuff.
Because like I mean he was obviously portrayed by a great actor in the first one, but
terrific horror actor.
It's
just such a good actor.
He was so good in the role as well. But like because Grand Moff, he is the Emperor's right hand man. You know, like Darth Vader's the Emperor's enforcer, but the Grand Moff Tarkin's like the kind of, if the Emperor is like the kind of head of state, like Grand Moff Tarkin's is Prime Minister, head of the army, whatever way you want to kind of look at it.
Yeah.
So he has a lot more impact than like, especially you see it again in Rogue One, his kind of the importance of his role. And I haven't seen all the Clone Wars, but I've seen that he becomes a sort of bigger character in Clone Wars. So I need to see more of that because it charts his kind of rise from sort of lower rank moving up, sort of because he was a favorite of Palpatine's, and you even see him in Revenge of the Sith. At the very end of Revenge of the Sith, when they're looking at the Death Star, the Emperor and Darth Vader look at the Death Star, the guy at the side is a young Grand Moff Tarkin.
Right.
You know, so he's kind of a more important. And then again, and I remembered this as well. Like, he's quite. It's in one of the book series later on, like one of the book trilogies. It's a sort of pupil of Tarkin's that is the villain.
All right.
Who he trained and mentored and stuff. So it's so he's more of an important role than I think people give him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he is important in the first one, but like there's more to him than just that guy in the first one, you know.
How cool was it though in Rogue One when they brought him back? An actor who has been dead for I don't know how many years, and it was like unbelievable.
Yeah,
what they could do with that.
Well, do you know I read last night again in my kind of sort of vague research for this, like they were able to get the sort of CGI mapping for his face off of his life mask for Top Secret. Have you ever seen Top Secret?
I haven't, no.
It's a spoof spy movie that he has a small part in.
Right.
And it was like the same guys that made Airplane.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I love Airplane, man.
Yeah,
like I urge you to like the Top Secret again. It's not a very well known, but it's brilliant. Val Kilmer's the main guy in it, by the way, and he's actually pretty good. It's supposed to be a take on.
Surprised at that.
Yeah. It's supposed to be a take on like his character is like it's like when Elvis was doing movies, you know.
Right.
It was like that kind of idea because there's songs in it, he sings in it and stuff. But Peter Cushing's scene in it is really weird because it says like they got it from his life mask for this movie, but the character he plays has one big giant massive eye. Like, see if you look for images of it, like Google images of Peter Cushing Top Secret, right? He's got a huge eye. It's like how like oh, she's looking it up like.
Well, I'm gonna see this now.
It's as I say, like if you've never seen the film, check it out. It's really, really funny.
Talk about
Just right.
Let's see. Oh.
Yeah, because like you see,
that's a magnifying glass.
No, but that's the thing. He's got a magnifying glass, and then he takes it down, and his eye actually is massive.
That's horrible. That's frightening.
It's like he's looking through this magnifying glass, takes it away, his eye is huge.
That's brilliant.
But he's just in that one scene, and for Rogue One, they used his life mask from that movie. I was just like, really?
Of all the things.
So weird. So weird. But as you say, that was really cleverly done, and I think the guy that played him did a really good job.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Of emulating them. I was remiss in actually noting his name, which is a shame. but no, he did a really, really good job of that.
Yeah, definitely. What are your guys' favorite lightsabers? If you were a Jedi or a Sith, and you had to own one lightsaber to use, what would it be? Hilt and color.
You see, recently I've started thinking about this really seriously because Galaxy's Edge, you can go and build your own lightsaber.
Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
And I'm thinking, when I go to Galaxy's Edge, I need to have what I want in my head.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Definitely.
See, I haven't been putting as much serious thought into this as I should have.
I've started thinking.
I never thought of that.
I want to do.
You can even use a pre-existing one and change the blade colour or whatever. Change the crystal colour. If that makes it easier.
Going back, I mean, that's one of the cool things you can do in Fallen Order is you can fully customize your lightsaber.
That's exciting. That's cool.
down
buying this game.
down to the colour of the blade.
That's amazing.
You know, it's like, but it's even like it's like pommel, hilt, switch, so you can chop and change and mix them. And like, there's ones that are sets, but you can chop and change. It's just really cool.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's really cool.
I mean, one of the lightsabers that's my favourite lightsaber will always be Luke's, the blue one.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's like the origin story lightsaber. Anakin had it, Luke had it, then Rey had it, and it's like the kind of lightsaber they all kind of start off with. So it's always going to have a kind of special place. The coolest lightsaber is Mace Windu's. I love purple. Purple's my favourite colour, so I probably would go for a purple lightsaber. And the fact that I don't even know if I'm allowed to swear in this, but
yeah, on you go. Yeah, it's fine.
He had
I've
motherfucker.
hardly sworn at all.
I know, I was trying to think
It's
of
probably
that.
the longest I've gone without swearing in a long time.
Same, actually, I've not sworn yet either.
So actually all very
But Samuel Jackson had motherfucker on the hill of the and like a bad motherfucker.
Bad motherfucker.
That is the coolest fucking lightsaber you could get.
Yeah, that's cool.
In the Star Wars sort of writing,
Yeah.
which is awesome.
But I actually do like Rey's hilt. See out of her staff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like Rey's
I like the switch for it. Yeah, the switch of this
so
really
maybe
cool.
have that, but maybe have it in purple.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep, definitely.
You still think? What about you? Have you got any ideas?
Red or yellow blade, probably red or yellow. Just 'cause I think red is so menacing looking. I mean, I've even got my Kylo Ren lightsaber here. But no, red.
Blade as well. I think
A red. Dark side.
But as in terms of like the kind of the hilt.
See, when you're dark side, do you actually have to have a red blade?
I don't think you have to, because I mean, technically, I don't know if I'd call it if it was or not, but General Grievous was technically.
He had different colours, but wasn't that from the lightsabers that he'd stolen?
They were stolen as trophies. Yeah. Well, because I think the whole again in the kind of current comics, the kind of run that they did that was picked up when Anakin becomes Darth Vader, and it's after his first sort of mission that Palpatine gives him is to get his lightsaber, get a kyber crystal for his lightsaber, and it's got to be red because the purpose of a Sith's lightsaber is for killing.
Mm.
So that's why they're red,
right?
Because it's for drawing blood, even though the wounds are cauterized immediately. But yeah, I don't know for the hand. Like I always thought the shape of Count Dooku's was really cool.
Yeah, I agree.
What series are bringing out that? Or it might be out.
It's coming out, or it's already out.
Yeah, it looks cool.
That's really cool. I always liked the hilt for Luke's green one.
Yeah, it was quite cool. The kind of steps on it. Yeah,
I like that one. But the reason I always thought that was cool as well is because it was like years ago when I was wee. The Forbidden Planet had that in the window, and it was a universal remote control.
Oh, nice.
But it was Luke's lightsaber handle, and I always wanted it, but it was really expensive. I just thought I would have thought I'd probably go for a similar looking to Luke's.
Yeah.
Luke's hilt, because it's red lightsaber, it's got to be mostly black, hasn't it? Replace the copper bits with black.
There we go.
That's cool.
That's what I'd have.
Yeah. Definitely, that's yeah. I couldn't choose a handle. I like the whole kind of crossguard thing Kylo Ren's got going. I like that, the whole like venting it and all that. That's cool, but I don't know. I like the way that Rey's is bound with leather. I think that's quite cool. It's like a rustic look. That's pretty cool. Something rustic looking with a yellow blade or a red blade.
It's kind of makeshift.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
I really, really hope we see more of Rey's lightsaber somewhere, because I just like, as soon as I saw it, I really, really liked it.
Well, mate, that night I was playing Battlefront 2, remember? And they'd released the kind of Rey skin from the current movie, and it has the yellow lightsaber. You were all, you're like, wow. It was
right, guys, I'm taking these with me because my battery is low, because my battery is terrible now, and it's new batteries.
Run.
So I'm gonna run and I'm gonna put it on charge.
It's like
Just adding a new dynamic to the podcast, you know.
The surprising adventures of Sir Digby Chicken Caesar.
Oh, I'm done. Where's my charger now? This is the fun bit. I'm hopeless, by the way.
There's a wee Death Star lamp. I just seen a Death Star lampshade there in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Again, I'm sure I saw that in a shop somewhere and very nearly bought it.
Oh. Try and get a good bit of lighting now as well. See if that works. Nope. Give me 2 seconds. Bear with.
Face the other way. Face so you're facing the window.
There we go. You have a wee snake in the background somewhere. Don't even know if he's out. Yeah, sorry about that.
Right.
terrible battery. Yeah, The Mandalorian. Have you guys both finished The Mandalorian? Is up to date with The Mandalorian?
Yes, you've watched it.
Again, I watched it twice. Yeah.
I really want to watch it again. I just haven't got round to it.
Yeah.
It's
really good.
So good.
Really good.
I thought it was from the get-go. It was really good. Like it straight away, it kind of grabbed you. From the off, because you kind of want to know who he is and what he's like.
Yeah.
And what his character is, and they don't even reveal that pretty much till
the
end. Really, the end of the first season. So
it's weird because I think the favourite things that Disney have brought out are the non-Jedi related things, like the Mandalorian and Rogue One. To me, are the two best things that.
Definitely.
I think it's just such a. Because the Mandalorian has such a Western feel about it. It's so.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then who doesn't love Baby Yoda? So everyone loves Baby Yoda.
So cute, man.
He's the best. Like, because it's because that's what we're saying. I've because we've only watched the first 2 episodes of the kind of behind the scenes thing for the Mandalorian. And it was, I can't remember which one it was. It was one of the directors saying, like, that's a whole galaxy. So there's so many stories that you could have away from the kind of main rebellion against the Empire, even the Republic, and stuff like that. And I think that's probably where Disney will, if they mine more of that, they'll probably have more success. But it could be good. Just going off the Mandalorian alone, because that was just phenomenal. I think it was so well cast with everybody.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It was very good. Yeah.
The story clipped along at a good pace. It never felt like it lagged at any point or anything like that. It kept you engaged the whole way through, and then again, like his sort of character development, sort of similar to sort of Judge Dredd. It's like glacial. Like it's just it changes tiny amount. It just changes a tiny amount of this kind of character. From at the beginning, so I'm kind of really looking forward to the second season of it as well.
Definitely.
See where they go with it from there. But also, remember how much I was freaking out at the episode that had the prison break in it.
Oh yeah, that was a good episode. Yeah,
the amount of guest stars they had in it, because I was like freaking out. I was like, that sounds like Clancy Brown. It's Clancy Brown, because anything that I love, because I love Clancy Brown, and I'm just glad whenever he pops up in anything. I message my best mate Pete. There's it's Clancy Brown's in this, and he's like, right, you check it out. And Bill Burr as well. He was really good in that episode as well.
Oh yeah, right enough. Bill Burr. Yeah, forgot he was on it.
Bobby Elvis from Sons of Anarchy was in it too.
Yep. He's a good man. He's a good actor.
I think he spoiler alert, died, didn't he? So it's a shame his character will come back.
Okay, but you never Star Wars, like
yeah, it's true.
You think before it died, or like it's happening, you know.
It could be cloned. It could be
yeah. Do you know the way? Even though I knew that Pedro Pascal was under the helmet, I was still shocked when they took the helmet off. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh my god,
that's what he looks like. I don't know. Because when I was watching it, in a weird way, he doesn't fully look like himself. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's weird. It's like, I don't know.
It's just absolutely amazing. I've actually got friends at the moment in LA who's building a cosplay of the Mandalorian, and it
It's
is
really cool.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
He also does custom-made lightsabers for people, which
Brilliant.
is I've still not ordered one yet. I really want one. But yeah, his Mandalorian cosplay is unreal.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cool. I just love the Mandalorian.
I think the whole thing about it was as well, like kind of going back to the sort of prequel thing. And this is another reason why I don't like Attack of the Clones as much. It takes Boba Fett's mystique away somewhat.
Yeah.
And I think the Mandalorian sort of puts that kind of sheen on them again. This kind of mysterious sort of faceless bounty hunters kind of thing, and that you said earlier on, like have their own code and all that kind of thing. But then
this is the way.
This is the way. This is the way. But then it's like when they go back into the tunnels and all the Mandalorians' armor's lying. Well, the scene where they all start joining in the fight is what was amazing. That guy with the big minigun
so
was just
cool.
amazing.
Oh yeah.
But like when they go back into the tunnels and all the armor is just lying there, and I was like, what happened to those guys? Because I don't think it's explicitly mentioned that they're dead.
No, but it is kind of got the same eerie feel because you don't see their faces, and it is like skulls lying there. It's that same kind of
thing
or, you get with it. It's...
Have they gone into hiding?
Possibly.
You know, it's
true.
It's interesting to see.
Series 2 does look really good. Well, hopefully it's going to be really good.
I imagine
they've announced obviously a few things about it, so
yeah.
So
I think I'm looking forward to seeing Ahsoka Tano. She's going to be really good, I think. Yeah.
Rosario
Dawson. She's a good actress, isn't she? Yeah.
I love her a lot. She's an amazing actress, and I think she'll play the character really well. But it's obviously the question is, how is Ahsoka going to fit in with the story? Because Mandalorian is it's before. Where's it? When's it set?
It's in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. I'm not exactly sure how long, because I think it's when they're still trying to establish a new republic. So there is an element of lawlessness after the fall of the Empire. So it's fairly soon after Return of the Jedi. Relatively soon after Return of the Jedi. So,
I mean, it's a big thing for fans because this is the first live action Ahsoka that we've ever seen. You know, they've had her, she's a real love character, and they've had her in Clone Wars for years and so many series, and then she's obviously now going to be a live action character, which is an amazing kind of thing for fans. But it's how they're going to play it. Obviously, there's different ways they could do it, because obviously Cara Dune was part of the rebellion. Hitting my Lego. It was part of the rebellion, and I don't know if they'll maybe bring it in that she knows Cara Dune, maybe like from their days fighting, or whether she'll have some sort of connection to Yoda, like baby Yoda, and maybe want to take care of him to maybe, I don't know. But then is this going to mean that the Jedi are now going to come into the Mandalorian in some sort of form of way, you know, like...
Because I think there was some things that did establish that not all of the Jedi were purged, and a lot, like more than just Yoda went into hiding, which is obviously how Ahsoka Tano can be in it, period, in the first place. So it'd be interesting, because then they could potentially do other series about them, if you know what I mean, like sort of, because obviously they're planning a Kenobi series as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, man. That's gonna be great.
Does that come into play there? But it's like you said, like how she, like, because you said it was the first, when you said it was the first live action one, I was thinking like I think they won't reveal what she looks like until she appears on screen.
Oh yeah,
they're
probably.
not. I don't think they'll give too much away. You know.
I wonder if they'll change her look. I always think that, because it's like, say when you see like, especially Marvel movies, a lot of the comic books, it looks like they're wearing like printed lycra, and then when obviously they come into the movies, they're wearing like armor. So I wonder if they'll change the way that she looks. Do you know what I mean?
If you look at Captain America's outfit in the first Avengers movie, it's not great.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
you know, it's. I think that kind of, you have to kind of bulk that stuff up a little bit, because as you say, it just looks like type lycra.
Yeah,
that's just odd. It really only just suits Spider-Man.
Yeah,
but like they wouldn't really. I don't think they would have to change her look too much. She obviously isn't going to be wearing the exact same outfit.
Yeah,
it's just basically face and tendrils.
I think, but with the Mandalorian, a lot of it in Series 1 was mainly focused on kind of the common folk, the common people of the galaxy, you know, the villagers of different planets, you know, it was all that kind of, so to bring in another, like, obviously Baby Yoda has some use of the Force, but to bring in a character that is going to be, you know, a Force user, it's going to set a kind of different tone to the Mandalorian as well in season 2, and then also open it up to different ways it could go. But yeah, I'm excited about it, you know, to see where it's going to go. As I said, I've not watched all of Clone Wars, so I don't know a lot about her character. I know bits, and I know that she goes on a mission to find Ezra. I was going to say Bridges or something like that, but I can't remember if it's Ezra. And she's like, at the time of the Mandalorian, she's on this quest to find this other character. So will it be set in her trying to find this character?
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they fit it in and what the purpose of her character will be, and how it ties in with Baby Yoda.
Because there's rumours flying about that Boba Fett's going to be in it, but then Temuera Morrison has been, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to play Boba Fett.
No.
You know, it could be. Well, one of the suggestions is that he's going to be Captain Rex.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah,
you know, which would be good. I think it doesn't have to come back as Boba Fett. Because I don't think you, as much as I love the character, I don't think you need to have Boba Fett in it.
No.
True.
You know, unless it was done really well and there was a good reason for it, not just try to.
Don't just throw him in there. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It would be interesting.
Sure, I think Disney have kind of, surely they're learning from mistakes, and the fact that when you start playing with the characters that people know and love, or have known and loved for years from the original trilogy and stuff like that, they've got to be very careful. They can't just throw it in as here's Boba Fett, and then, you know, whatever. They've got to do the character justice.
Exactly.
It's well thought out, and hopefully if they do bring Boba Fett in, it will be, you know,
it'll
good.
Be for a good
reason.
Like, yeah. Because I mean, like, it was at the end of one of the episodes when you see it's just the feet and the cape.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, it's Boba Fett, but then obviously it wasn't. But you know, but then I didn't feel disappointed that it wasn't him.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. As I say, as much as I love the character, just going from like the books and stuff that I've read and comics and stuff. But yeah, I'm going to wait and see. But I have high hopes for it because I've loved the first series. I thought they did a really, really good job with it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And even like watching the behind the scenes kind of stuff about it is really good as well, because it gives you a lot of insight into how and why they did a lot of the stuff that they did, which is really good as well.
Jon Favreau's just.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
He's saved a lot of franchises. You know what I mean? Like, he's done a lot, and you know.
Like, so I think it's in good hands, and I think hopefully it will continue just to be just as
definitely.
good as it was. But I'm so glad that it was the first thing they put out on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
that was
definitely.
the Star Wars series. It was really good.
I thought, yeah. Because I think the whole idea, everybody thought it was going to be a Boba Fett series. As I said, like by making it new, it was fresh and interesting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't retreading those characters you've already seen. There hasn't been anyone in it that's been in anything else, really, you know. So
there's talks that with Ashoka that Luke's name might appear in the next, because at that point he's kind of been training, and will she have met him on her pathway and all this kind of stuff. But I don't know if if they will do that, or whether they will just keep everything like that out of it, or whether maybe names might get mentioned, you know, because he is training at kind of at this time, you know, it'll be like Ben Solo and whoever else, so all that will happen, and you know, it's where so it was just interesting to know how everything will kind of marry up.
Yeah,
it would be good.
Thank you very much, guys. I have thoroughly enjoyed this. This is Thank you so much for being on here. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thanks for inviting us on.
You guys are brilliant.
That was good fun.
But we'll definitely do this again. This is great.